You're with us on I-95.5 FM listening to Panchayat, a different kind of talk, coming to you from Shine Street in Port of Spain. Well, today I have some special guests from ALTA, the Adult Learning Tutors Association. We have Ms. Deborah Thomas Austin, a tutor, and Mr. Sunil Rambogin, a student. So, say your good morning.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning, Kwesi. Thanks for having us on the program this morning.
Hi, good morning, guys. Thanks for having us.
Okay, Tom, you can play the clip there now.
Okay.
I remember the countless times I felt embarrassed because I could not fill out a form. I went to the doctor to make an appointment. I asked, "Can I take the form home and fill it out?" She was furious. She said, "No, why do you want to duplicate my form?" I felt awful. I wish the ground I was standing on would open and swallow me. Even when I was filling out an application in Holiday Foods, they asked, "What is your hobby?" I had to ask someone how to spell football. One time I had to call my wife to spell some words for me. Numerous times she would rescue me. Being a salesman had its challenges, but the real challenge was making out the receipt. I knew one day it will catch up with me. It was clear to me I needed to join ALTA. I procrastinated for years, believing in a lie that someone was coming to rescue me. After some years, I said to myself, it's now or never. This is my second term in ALTA, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm looking forward to read, write, and spell properly. I take full ownership of my life, and I'm committed to finishing the course and have many better tomorrows. Thank you, and God bless you.
Are you 16 and over? Your little today could be a lot tomorrow. Free spelling and reading classes. To sign up, call or WhatsApp ALTA today. 708-1990.
Okay, so that was Sunil's presentation. Let me go to Ms. Thomas Austin to talk about ALTA. What really is ALTA?
So ALTA is an NGO, a non-profit organization that has been working since 1992 to improve the levels of literacy of persons in Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean. And we do that through a series of community classes and now virtual classes via Zoom. We cater for adults 16 years and over, but we also have a program called Youth Lit that deals with children from the ages of 9 to 15. And our work is to help people improve their reading, writing, and spelling.
Mm-hmm. That is rather interesting. Now, I have heard about ALTA. My wife was a teacher, and I tried to encourage her to become a ALTA tutor. I don't know if she ever did it, because I used to tell her, this is something that has to be positive, because for adults, not being able to read is a serious thing. So let me just ask Sunil, how long have you been a student in ALTA?
I've been a student 1 year.
1 year, okay.
Yes.
But you say procrastinate. What do you mean?
Yes. Well, I did procrastinate for years, and I tried to lose myself in the crowd.
Okay.
Because I found myself in situations where I'm in the same room with people who speaking proper, and then I realized, well, I cannot speak proper, and if I'm speaking broken, it's sounding weird. Nobody not gonna look down at me, but it is sounding weird. And it have situation where I have to fill out a form, and I I realizing, well, no, this someday it is definitely gonna catch up with me, and I keep procrastinating for years upon years upon years, and I keep ducking ALTA because ALTA is right there. ALTA is like by the tip of your finger. ALTA is like a stone throw away from my home.
Okay, so that's interesting. That somebody, because I remember back in the day. There was this guy. We knew he couldn't read, but he used to have a newspaper in his pocket. Back in the day when they used to have evening news.
Yes.
So you go and buy evening news, fold it, put it in his back pocket. We can read. We knew he couldn't read, but he was given this impression, so because it is something that many people do not want to admit.
There's a lot of stigma attached to not being able to read fluently and not being able to spell properly. And I think that's one of the things that ALTA has tried to do over the years, is to dispel that and to make people recognize that this is not something to be ashamed of. Reading is a skill, and like any other skill, we can learn that skill, it can be taught. And so we want to encourage people to come forward, acknowledge that there is a challenge, and to come forward to try to get help.
Okay. This might be a difficult question, but what is your understanding of the literacy rate in Trinidad and Tobago? Since for many, many years you hear about 90-something%, some people put it 99%. Is that so? You think that is so?
So that one is a difficult one to answer, because we really have not had a comprehensive literacy survey done in the country since the 1990s. So I recall that ALTA would have done a survey, I think, in 1994, and that was followed in 1995 by a survey done by UE, which measured literacy rates. I think what we tend to hear quoted speaks more to the infrastructure that is available for persons to go to school. So the number of schools and the ability to have children of school age enter a primary school. But I don't think that figure that we normally hear reflects the true picture of the number of persons in the country who are fully literate.
Okay.
Yes, but as I said, without an up-to-date survey, it's difficult to say what the rates are at the moment. But when we did that survey back in 1994, the results were showing that over 50% of persons were able to, not 50% of persons, 23% of the population, that survey showed, struggled with everyday reading and writing skills.
Okay.
23% struggled with those skills, and only 32% could cope with some everyday reading and writing. Less than half of our adults can read and understand a simple paragraph in a newspaper. So I think the actual picture on the ground is a lot grimmer than the image we get from the statistics that are often quoted.
Okay, but are we losing it a little bit because of the tablets and phones and all of that, and some of the Americanization of words? If you go spell check, you do something, and spell check tell you, no, that's wrong. And I say, you don't know how to spell. That's my way. I say, you don't know how to you can't spell.
So that's not necessarily a spelling error. That's just a difference in how the English spelling versus the American spelling. And both they're interchangeable and acceptable. I think the technology helps and it hinders. So the technology actually helps persons because they can use a voice note, and there's a translate feature in your WhatsApp, so you can convert a voice message into written text. So that can help people. But what it may do is prevent people from taking the steps to learn how to do it themselves. So I think that's where it hinders more. But there are aspects of the technology that are very helpful for people who struggle with reading and writing. So if you're seeing a passage and you can't read it, you can use the technology to listen to it, so you get an audio version. Yeah, so it's a double-edged sword.
It is. Okay, ALTA. How many people is ALTA able to train at any one time? Because you say you...
So in our classes, and it varies, it depends on how many people register. We have about 22 in-person community classes, but we also have about 23 virtual classes around the country, which means people can log in via Zoom and they face a teacher over the virtual platform. So depending on the amount of students who register in any given academic year, at the beginning of the year, we could have up to 400 to 600 persons registering. But over the years, since ALTA has been doing this work, we estimate that we have reached over 14,000 persons to assist with their literacy through our classes.
Okay. Do you have an age measure to say that, okay, the oldest person to enter ALTA is 100?
I don't know that figure, but I can say as a volunteer literacy tutor, which I've been doing for the past 15 years,
wow.
I have had students in my class over the age of 70.
Okay.
And so last year I had 2 students in my class who were over the age of 70. And so we have them at different ages. Yes.
That is rather interesting, eh? And on the lower side, what would you consider?
Well, we start at 16.
Right.
We don't accept them into the adult classes below the age of 16.
Okay, right,
but as I say, the Youth Lit program caters for 9 to 15.
9 to 15, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that is rather interesting. Sunil, let me ask you the question: how were you able to navigate, before you decided to hook up with ALTA? How were you able to navigate?
Well, it was hard. It was really tough, and I mapped it out about 1 million times in my brain, trying to see how it could work, and I said no, it can't work.
Okay.
But life, I mean, if you want to be successful, you have to face some challenges in whatever success is your path.
Okay.
And I spoke to the wifey. I said, lady, here, this is the situation. And she was like, really? Okay, cool. I think that's a great idea. Because all my forms and my little documents and everything, she have a life. She's pretty busy. I have to wait on her to fill out my forms. Okay. And so she was, yeah, well, yeah. I said, but this is the situation. Remember, we have kids. We have to navigate. You working Port of Spain. Bam, bam. She said, listen, we're going to work it out. Go to your ALTA. And I'm still trying to find an excuse not to go to ALTA. And, I remember I chatting with a lady that I knew for a number of years. She is an ALTA tutor. And she kept encouraging me. And when we talking, I get so excited and I say, yeah, for sure. And do talk for the earliest night church service that I'm making, that I want to promise that next year I'm going to join for sure. The New Year's resolution. And it never happened. I remember 2015, I made it, right? And it never happened.
Okay. Last year.
And I say, you know what? No, my kids is growing older. Sometimes you need to go to the school. The child gets sick. You have to fill out this form, fill out the notebook because you're taking your child out. You can't even spell the teacher's name. Come on, man. Come on. I think I owe it to myself to learn to read. And I went and I registered Shoguna's library. And I think that was the turning point. Okay. And they were so sweet to me. They didn't look down at me. They were all excited. Oh, really? You come to join ALTA? Well, that's great. Come on. Let's sign you up. And they didn't give me no pen. Because back in the day, I mean, before I joined ALTA, when I see a pen, I turn it. If a pen on this side, I turn in this direction. And don't give me no pen to write nothing.
Okay, I hear you. But, how do you see yourself now as maybe a change agent and relating to people, your age, a little younger, a little older, in terms of their own capability and giving them the kind of, like you say, how your wife supports you. Mm-hmm. How do you translate your present situation to help other people?
Well, because of
that's a nice little commercial you have that we play just now, eh?
Yes.
That's one thing.
Yes.
But you outside of that. Yeah.
Because of my journey with ALTA, I remember when I stepped into the class, it was uncomfortable. It was foggy. The most I can see is like 10 feet ahead, and I realized if I walked 10 feet again, I will accomplish 20. And that is how I keep going and going and going. So this is the experience that I got from ALTA. This is the same encouragement that I want to give to other people.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I mean, you're doing it now, and I'm glad for that. You know, do any one of you want to look at what you think is the problem with literacy in Trinidad and Tobago? What is causing, you know, I mean, you won't have a total picture, but what are the elements that may be causing that level of illiteracy in Trinidad and Tobago? Because Deborah talked about 23% there earlier, and we don't know what it is now. We don't know what it is now. So on the one hand, maybe we should be encouraging the Ministry of Education to do some kind of survey, you know, put it down that over a period of time we will survey Trinidad and Tobago, not just from the schools but from the people, you know, and understand, because we do for a census sometimes.
Yes.
Right? So maybe that could be part of the questionnaire in the census. But
so we're overdue for a census, but I understand it's in the works, so it should be happening soon, we hope. Literacy, and in ALTA, we use the term low literacy skills, or we talk about non-readers, right, as a more or less judgmental term, or less disparaging term. So literacy is a function of three things. Aptitude is one. So some people's brains are naturally wired for reading. So reading is not something that comes naturally to us. Speaking is, but not reading. But some people's brains are wired to pick up reading easily, just like any other skill. There's some people who can sing. They just have the natural aptitude for it. So you have that. That is one component of people being able to do it. The second component would be exposure. So for those persons who have books around, or who have people reading to them, or they're seeing people reading, that's something else that encourages it and improves their ability to do so. And I think the third component will be instruction. So whether it's in school or in a program like ALTA, if you have quality instruction, then that teaches people in the way they need to learn, then that can improve their ability to read as well. So when you put those three things together, that's what we're looking at: aptitude, exposure, and quality instruction. And so if we are seeing that there is a low level of literacy in the community, in the society, then we have to look at which of those three components we can work with to try to improve those levels.
You know, I had this approach for my first child: no toys, books. As you grow older, you get toys, but in the early stages, books.
So that's one way to do it, and making sure that there are persons who read to them, so that they understand that reading is something that's desirable, that it's pleasurable, and so we want to encourage that as much as possible.
I have a grandson who's born, pull a sheet over his head, and he'll have a book in the night, you know, I help him to bed, you know, so that, and I understand. I understand that. I wouldn't do that, but then I said, you know. So, you know, we have to bring something to the people, but it would be very, very important to me to do a survey, a literacy survey in Trinidad.
Well, I think many of us would agree that that is long overdue. We need to understand what the true picture is, so that we could build the programs and initiatives that are necessary to address the problem. But I also wanted to pick up on something that Sunil was saying when you talked to him about how did he navigate, but also the steps that he took. So our recruitment campaign for getting new students in the new school year beginning in September is a little today, a lot tomorrow, ALTA. So it's like Sunil walking into that ALTA center and saying, after procrastinating for how many years, I'm taking this step. It's that little step that you do. What is that little thing that you can do today so that you can achieve a lot tomorrow? And I think his experience is an excellent example of that.
Okay. One of the things that motivated me to do this program today, I was seeing a number, as I said, I been impressed with ALTA for years. And then I started to see some of these ads.
Okay.
You know, and I thought that was, you know, really, really good. And what can we do to push that? You know, to get people to get, if it is possible at all, 100% literacy in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Maybe that should be an ALTA aim. I don't know. Maybe that should be a government aim.
Let's call it a stretch goal. We're all working towards that.
A stretch goal, yeah. So, that is the kind of thing that I think we should be.
Yeah, so those ads are part of our campaign. Okay. So every year around this time, between June, July, August, leading up to the start of the new school year in September, so we have a number of these promotions.
So that is how ALTA does it on the school year?
Yes. Okay. So our classes run with the school year. So we start, and classes will start on the 7th of September. Okay. And we run for the term. The first term coincides with the school term. Okay. Then we come back in January. We have the second term. And so we run with the school year.
Okay. How, and Sunil could answer that, your classmates, are you on Zoom or your face-to-face classes?
I'm on face-to-face, but I really wanted Zoom.
I can understand why.
Yes, because yes. And when they mentioned to me, when I was registering, they said Zoom. I said, really? And I got all excited. And then the next person said, no, the Zoom teacher not available.
Okay.
And I tried. Even when I went to class, I said, when the Zoom will be starting, please let me know. Okay. They say, okay. And I finished the whole year without Zoom, and I am happy that I did not go to the Zoom class, because the interaction...
That is the question that I want to raise with your interaction.
Yes, with
teacher
the
and other students.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. The teachers, they are such soft-hearted and warm-hearted people. They treat you like you related to them, like them know you from ever since. Okay. They are so respectable. They never, not one day, look down at you. And even my other classmates as well, they do look down at you, because I felt really comfortable, because not just all of us was in the same boat, but we were paddling in the same direction. Right. And all of us were feeding from each other.
All right. Yeah, that to me is very, very important, what the classroom is like.
It's a very supportive, nurturing environment. So ALTA trains its tutors.
I'm aware of that.
So we go through a very rigorous training period, and it doesn't just end when you're trained. We have a refresher, like we have a refresher coming up next weekend, next weekend and the following weekend for the existing tutors who will come back and do this refresher, so that we update their skills before they go back into the classroom. Yeah. But we are very committed to recognizing that we're working with adults in these classes, and adults deserve the respect. Yeah. So we treat them like people, and we treat them with respect. I think the point that Sunil made with the classmates as well, everybody recognizes that they're there for the same purpose, so nobody feels any better than or less than the other person. We're all struggling with the same issues, and we're working together to achieve them.
Yeah, we might be at different levels.
But what we do is, once they register for the classes, we do an assessment to see where they are and what level we need to place them in. So ALTA starts at a beginner's level, or there's level 1, level 2, and then students who can master the skills that are taught there, we recommend for them that they join our spelling program or our reading circle. So there are several options. Okay. So in a class, the class that you're in, everybody there is at more or less at the same level. Some may have more. They read a little better. Their reading is stronger than others. Some, their spelling might be stronger than others. So everybody has their little skills, and they recognize that they're all working towards the same goal. And so they are very, very supportive of each other.
Okay, well, how do you know? Okay, let me just back up a little bit. What is the longest time that someone is expected to spend in the program? Because you say level 1, level 2, and you say level 3.
We have a level 3. I forgot level 3. Yes, we do have a level 3. So persons can spend a year, 2 years in a level, and they can move up to another level. Okay. There are persons who stay in a level longer than that for a particular reason. So for instance, by the time you get to level 2, you can achieve functional literacy by the time you complete level 2. And for many of our adult learners, that's what they need, to be able to navigate their own lives. There are a number of people who come in and they tell you, especially the older ones, they just want to be able to read their Bible. Okay. So for somebody like that, even when they've mastered the skills in level 2, they're not necessarily interested to going on to level 3. Okay. Because the students who do that tend to want to do CXC subjects, so they want to go further academically, and so they may want to go on to level 3. Mm-hmm. But many of our adult learners are happy with where they get to at level 2, and then we encourage them, if it's a spelling program or the reading circle, just so that they maintain that involvement and they can do that. But there's no time frame after which we boot you out of the class. Okay. But we work with the students to progress, and some may take a little longer to progress from one level to another.
All right, maybe the trick question I'm going to ask, what about dropout rate?
Well, we do have that. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we've measured to say that the dropout rate is a particular percentage, but remember, we're dealing with adults and life intervenes. So people have jobs, and depending on the jobs they have, they may not be able to get time off from the job on a regular basis. Okay. So you might find that they start missing classes. Or other aspects of life, that intervene. And so what we try to encourage persons is to work out a way that you can put yourself first and commit to doing something. And for those who have difficulty maybe leaving home because they have young children at home, that's where the Zoom classes have been very helpful to some persons. Where you have an irregular schedule and you may not be able to get to the class on time, the Zoom classes have worked very well for others. But even where we have adult learners who've had to leave the class before completing the level, very often people come back. So when their circumstances change and they think they have more time, they come back. And even if they're not able to finish the year, they have progressed a little further. And so over time they keep doing that, and eventually they get to achieve their goal. So again, keeping with the team a little today, a lot tomorrow.
All right, we are back and we're dealing with ALTA, adult literacy, and even younger than adult literacy, but we're talking ALTA more than anything else here now. So let's open up the lines, Tom, and see what our people have to say. But they can read or not, you could call.
Okay. All right. So let me see here. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Brother Tom.
Good morning.
And Imam and your guest there.
Yeah, good morning.
Wonderful program. What I have to say, I'm from the old school. Mm-hmm. The curriculum of the education system in now has changed rapidly. And when I look at it, they must be left behind. I remember when we had to get onto presentation college, I had to go through the Catholic Church, and we had to be able to pass the exam, and there are people, and they had catered for other people that were unfortunate, maybe couldn't make it. They went to different training school and Sharamas and Chatham and all these things. So even the wonderful program that your counterparts there have been doing, there are still people right now because I'm a counselor. A lot of people come to me, young girls, young boys, and they cannot read and write up to now. Mm-hmm. And they're going through the college system. They cannot even pass the exam for driving test. Okay. So they have to go and pay money and see how they can get it. I'm telling you that.
Okay.
So who we are to blame is the whole curriculum system. Because I remember that in school we had dictation, we had reading, and you don't have that in school again.
Okay.
And everything now is multiple choice.
Okay.
So we pass it through the window and not through the door.
Okay. Well, what you could do is recommend ALTA to them and, help them
I recommend the ALTA now, because what your good colleagues there, what they're doing is what I'm doing. I'm a counselor. I help people. Yeah. I follow a lot of forms. Look, I follow the income tax, Imam, and I try to educate them. But it's so surprising now when they tell me, you went 7 years in school and you tell me you can't pass the exam to driving test because you can't read, you can't understand the sign and things. It's unfortunate. So it's a good program what your counterparts doing there. Yeah. And wonderful. So we try our best because we can't give up.
Okay.
But you see there, one thing as if I close, there must be left behind. Not everybody could take education,
Yeah,
not everybody.
Okay, thanks, man.
Yeah, wonderful.
Okay, so we're shooting for 100% literacy. Yeah.
Good.
Hello, good morning to you, Tom.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So before I proceed with my question, Let me ask your guest in the studio, Kwesi, are you familiar with the movie First Grader?
I haven't seen that movie.
Okay, that was an 84-year-old man who went to a primary school in a part of Africa where the president announced that education for all must be able to read and write. And then he went and they didn't want to take him in. I can't go through the whole thing. But he was insisting that he go. And he did went to school with his children, and people protest because they figure he shouldn't be around with the children. And actually he get invited to United Nations and so.
Okay.
And you could look it up. First Grader, is it? Was a very popular movie. He was 84 years old. So my reason for asking that question is that you said you had people over 70, in the 70s and thing. I was wondering, how does if you have younger people, if they were having if you never come across an issue where people believe that they shouldn't be, I'm at this particular age, I shouldn't be in the class with people of what you might call a senior age bracket and that kind of thing. If you've never had that kind of issue to deal with.
Okay.
And I can say that I have not. In 15 years of teaching, I've had, so while we have some persons over the age of 70 in the class at the end of the last academic year, I had persons in their 20s. I had a teenager as well in my class. And I have never seen any conflict or any tension between the age groups. As Sunil was indicating, there is a mutually supportive environment in our ALTA classes, which as tutors we try to create and to maintain. And so I have not seen that problem where either the older ones are feeling they shouldn't be there with the younger ones or vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah, okay then, thanks. But I wasn't really thinking about the older, I was thinking of the younger ones.
Vice versa. So I've not seen that tension at either.
Okay.
But you could Google the movie that I tell you about.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Thanks very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Sandra Cruz. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Kwesi and
Morning.
guest. Kwesi,
Yeah.
you know what happened? I find with the education system in this country. I went to Piccadilly School right for years there. I'm 81 now.
Okay.
Now, in our school at that time, you had to do a paragraph in your West Indian reader. Get up and go in front of the class. Read. You had to learn your catechism when you had to go for confirmation in Trinity Church. And all of that. And the teacher used to make sure when you can't read, they gave us something to homework to do. Right? You write out, I think you write out a paragraph. And all of that just disappear. I used to go to school with a guardian, you know, Kwesi. My teacher used to take my guardian for me to read it. And he said, up to this day, I just went and buy my papers. I always reading, and I grew up my daughter to learn to read.
Okay.
And it all depends on the parents in the house. You can't depend on the teacher to read, you know. Some of them can say draft for it. I know it was, because the people typing up form for you to apply for income tax, to apply for visa and all kind of thing. So it making it easier for them people on their side, but it damaging the country. So that's my problem. The teacher in school, you have to go back to reading penmanship. You remember that?
Of course.
Right. You're doing penmanship. You're able to do how to draft a letter, how to write a letter, and all this kind of thing in school. Anyhow, there are other people. I don't want to take too long.
All right, man. Thanks.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you. Thanks for your input.
Yeah, man, Juice, man. Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Brother Tom, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I am quite good, I give thanks.
Nicely.
I want to compliment Mr. Sunil. Sir, I listened to you this morning most attentively. I am quite good, I give thanks.
Nicely.
I want to compliment Mr. Sunil. Sir, I listened to you this morning most attentively. And I'm not certain that you should be the ALTA, you know. But if you are with me, madam, I didn't get your name, I missed your name. You all are doing a wonderful job. To hear Sunil speak, that should be an inspiration to anyone out there.
Yes.
Right? That Kwesi, you may have to do a rerun of this program for those who might have missed it this morning. Right? Mr. Sunil, you should be the picture boy, the page boy out there, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You will be an inspiration.
Okay. Well.
My wife used to teach ALTA for some years because she got too old now and she has dropped out. So I know of ALTA, right? But to hear Sunil this morning, I say, wow. Somewhere along the line, if you had the opportunities that we had, or was exposed as Public Kwesi and I have and others, you might have been so far above where you are today. So, you said you were procrastinating. Well, I know that term is out the window now. You're no longer procrastinating. So just continue, sir. You have my blessing, and I hope one day maybe I'll run into you. But good luck in your journey, and you would be a success. Have a good day, sir.
And please thank your wife for her service to ALTA.
I'll tell her when she gets it.
Okay.
I am a past student of ALTA.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you why I joined. Because I go to church and I do reading. And you know, some of the biblical words in the Bible very hard to pronounce. And when I started ALTA, when I went and joined ALTA, and they gave me a little test to do, I passed the test. And they said me I took rifles. I said, no, it made me surprised. I want to, because I read in church, and some of the words are difficult for me to pronounce. And they started me from Form 2, and it was very interesting. So, you know, sometimes I wonder, when our Trinidadians really of this country don't take interest in these programs, because they don't have to pay no money, all you have to do is buy the basic book they have there, and that was all. And they take their time with you. They take their time. They don't hustle you. If you don't understand, they will stop the whole class, and they will make sure that you understand what you do and help you read, which is very, very much. I will encourage anybody to go and join ALTA, because you don't have to be, they don't look down at you or whatever. And it's a very, very nice program. It's a very, very good program. And I have regret going to there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Good morning.
Morning, Quantum, and good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I walk in kind of late. The topic is about ALTA.
Yes.
Right. That is very good work that they are doing, and I want to know if they are reaching to the communities, to the community center, Brother Kwesi and your guests. When you go through this area, especially the East-West corridor, I don't like to say the ghetto much. You understand? Because when you talk about the ghetto, you make it feel like people think a kind of way and so on, like you're talking about Nelson Street, Duncan Street, George Street, Laventille, Piccadilly, St. Paul, and these areas and them. But when you go to these areas and them, these people, when you, not all, because there are some police officers coming from these areas, fire officers, and people from the protective services, nurses, and you may get one or two doctors and things, but a lot of the people on the ground who they can't read and write. You understand where I'm coming from? And I want to know, when you go through this area, the community center close up, and I believe they could use these centers through the Ministry of Education, and if finance is the problem, do something to try to see, or put something in place to try to see if they could get some, because when you're days of from here back then, I couldn't read anything properly, and it's because of picking up papers and reading and doing different things like going back to school and watching certain documentaries and movies. You get away and you're thinking a bit different. You understand? So I don't know if there's a plan by somebody or some politician to keep certain people stupid. But I want to know, what could you do, or what you could, what listening or be at what plan you could, or some suggestion that you could put in place for these areas. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, man. You have anything, Tom?
Yeah, I want to allow her to respond.
Okay.
Yeah, so and thanks for the comments. So we do have classes in some community centers. Off the top of my head, Lisa's Gardens Community Center in Couva is one that we have classes at. But we also use a number of church halls, schools, church halls and schools and other community facilities, not always community centers. But the caller spoke about classes in the East-West corridor, and we do have classes in a number of communities in Laventille, in Mova, in Tunapuna, in Separia, in Pinal Debe, in Sandy Grande, throughout most of the communities in the Trinidad. And because we do the virtual classes, and persons from any community can join a virtual class, and also persons in Tobago can join those classes as as well.
All right. No, that's a good question because we didn't raise Tobago as a specific. So how do we handle Tobago? We have a physical...
We don't have a physical class in Tobago, but students from Tobago can join our virtual classes on Zoom.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, so we like down to the wire.
Yeah, we're going down to the wire there, Tom. Watch it.
Caller, good morning.
I am very elated to hear what work ALTA has been doing, and I could have had the experience in prison to do that. They had ALTA done in prison. 85% of the prison are illiterate people. So prisoners were asked to come and learn from ALTA to be tutors, those who have had an education subject and all that. I was able to tutor prisoners. I was a part of it in the 2000 to 2002 period where I was teaching ALTA in the maximum state prison. And I see results because men came out with subjects. Those who did the C exams, but that was common entrance in that time, right? So I can see the work that you are doing was feasible for the prisoners as well, and for the less fortunate that haven't had an education at this time.
And so ALTA still has a prison program running, and so over the years we have developed another version of our ALTA teaching program, another platform. It's the ALTA Online, so it's a completely web-based interactive program that can be done using any device, whether it's a phone, tablet, laptop or computer, and so that program is in the prisons currently.
That is good. I didn't think about that one at all. I totally forgot the prison level.
Yes.
Okay,
Kwesi, one of the things I haven't taken the opportunity to do yet, and I'd like to do that now, is to just let your listeners know that if you are interested in the ALTA program, you can call any of our offices. You can get us on WhatsApp at 708-1990, at 624-2582, and 341-8668. So any of those numbers, one of our officers will, somebody will answer, and they will take you through the process and link you up with a class closest to you. And to remind our listeners that our classes start on the 7th of September, and all now you can call and register for a class.
Okay. Yeah, so two things. Getting that survey done, that literacy survey done, and I would really like to big up the founder of ALTA, because, that thought, a lot of people have missed that, you carry, that's your problem.
Yes.
But for somebody to
Paula
really
Lucy
take
Smith is the brain behind ALTA.
Yeah,
and Paula was a teacher in a secondary school and recognized the problem she was seeing in the classroom, started to develop the methodology, do the research, and so she eventually left teaching and has devoted her life since then to building this ALTA program, and including all the workbooks that we have done, the instructional material, that's all developed by an internal team within ALTA led by Paula. So we hold a debt of gratitude to her for that foresight.
Trinidad and Tobago, and not me and you, but Trinidad and Tobago owes her that debt of gratitude. All right, so any last words? Sunil, you have any last words? You want to tell us anything specific?
The passengers of the Titanic actually didn't want to leave the ship for almost 2 hours after it hit the iceberg. People thought the Titanic was unsinkable. Lifeboats left half empty. Only in the last half hour did people started to panic. But by that time, it was already too late. Not enough lifeboats. Nowhere to hide. Nowhere to run. Our ship has already hit the iceberg. We have already started to sink without we even realizing it. And I'm talking about the ship of not knowing how to read. ALTA has been my lifeboat.
Okay, sir.
I am forever grateful. A special thanks to Dr. Paula Lucy Smith, the staff, the tutors. Guys, you all will never know how grateful I am, because I can read. And it not just stopping here, but I am furthering my studies with ALTA. So again, guys, thank you very kindly.
Yes. Deborah, anything you want to say?
Yes, certainly. I would like to remind people of the theme of our campaign, A Little Today. And like Sunil said, take that first step, make that call, go to a class center and register. Take that little step now today to achieve a lot tomorrow. Remember, classes start on the 7th of September, and call 708-1990 to register for a class near to you.